Please subscribe to our channel, Pacific Front Untold, and be sure to leave a comment after watching a video.
What does justice look like after the unthinkable has been done? In today's final installment of this series, we step back and look deeper, not just at one man or one facility, but at the systems of power, silence, and memory that are connected to Shinagawa and Kyushu Imperial University, and even the infamous Unit 731. Today we ask, how do different war crimes get remembered or forgotten? What happens when punishment is negotiated away, and how does that compare to what we saw after Nuremberg? Now, we've already covered Dr. Hayasakichi Tokuda, the man behind experimental injections of soybean milk, sulfur in oil, caprylic acid, and others at Shinagawa Prisoner of War Hospital. Today, court records such as docket number 186 reveal that Tokuda was initially sentenced to death, but later commuted to life imprisonment, and then possibly even released. But Tokuda wasn't alone. As covered in our previous video, Kyushu Imperial University, there were 8 American airmen who were subjected to live vivisections in May 1945. As detailed in the Kyushu camp records, compiled by Roger Mansell, victims were conscious during organ removal, their bodies disposed of without ceremony as well. Both sites, Shinagawa and Kyushu, shared one chilling feature: a culture of detached experimentation, where human lives became biological material. In both cases, local command figures claimed to be just following orders, or that the actions were scientific inquiries made during wartime stress. These excuses echo far beyond Japan. In Harbin, Manchuria, Unit 731 operated under the command of Dr. Shiro Ishii. There, Japanese scientists infected Chinese civilians and prisoners of war with the plague, dissecting them without anesthesia and testing frostbite treatments by exposing limbs to the elements. According to Rick Atkinson's Japan's Hellish Unit 731, at least 3,000 prisoners died inside Unit 731, with countless more affected by bacterial warfare across China. While Unit 731 was much larger and much more industrial, the ideological parallels to Shinagawa and Kyushu are haunting. All 3 institutions targeted prisoners who could not give consent, massed atrocities under the guise of medical progress, and ultimately prioritized national military objectives over human life. Yet, here's the most disturbing part. Unit 731's leadership was granted immunity by the United States forces in exchange for their research data. Unlike the trials at Yokohama or Nuremberg, there was no courtroom, no sentence, and no public reckoning. The Nuremberg trials became a global symbol of post-war justice. 24 Nazi officials were prosecuted. The trial's emphasis on crimes against humanity changed international law forever. But in Japan, justice was fractured. Tokuda's case, for example, documented within Stanford's virtual tribunals, was part of the Yokohama Class B and C war crimes trials, much more limited in scale and international impact. Only a handful of doctors were tried. Tokuda, sentenced to death but later commuted. Aihara, implicated in fatal drug injections and vivisections. And Fujii, accused of operating on patients while impaired. According to some, the inconsistent handling of these trials shaped a post-war world where some crimes were punished, others silenced, and many forgotten. Today, Japan continues to grapple with these legacies. Unlike Germany's institutional acknowledgement of Nazi crimes, Japan's memory of wartime experimentation remains politically delicate. Memorials on Unit 731 exist, but are often contested. The victims of Shinagawa and Kyushu have few public markers, if any. Families of American prisoners of war still seek acknowledgement, as seen in McCurry's 2015 article. Meanwhile, some revisionist voices downplay or deny the extent of medical atrocities. This tension between truth, silence, and accountability raises difficult questions, such as, who decides what gets remembered? What role should survivors and their families play in these narratives? And how do we confront histories that nations find inconvenient? Shinagawa, Kyushu, Unit 731, and Nuremberg. Each site holds echoes of decisions made, lives taken, justice sought, but not always delivered. As researchers, historians, and viewers, it is our responsibility to keep asking these questions. What are we willing to forget, and who gets left behind when we do? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Should more be done to recognize the victims of Shinagawa and Kyushu? And how do you think modern Japan and the world at large should handle these wartime legacies? If this series has helped you see this history in a new light, please consider subscribing, sharing, or supporting through the website for pacificatrocities.org. Memory needs voices, so let's keep speaking.